Wow. Season 2 of Loki is exactly the show I wanted ever since I heard that Disney was going to be releasing new Marvel shows on Disney+. The MCU is a crazy roller coaster that has given me so much joy and so many great memories of going to the movies with a big group of friends. I've had so many great conversations with people as we speculated on what might happen in the next movie, the next phase, the next saga. No matter what happens in the future, the MCU has cemented a place in my heart forever. But it's still pretty sad to see this huge franchise fall back down to earth with mediocre releases. I figured the good times might be coming to an end after I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It was a great final send-off to a few of the remaining characters from the Infinity Saga, and part of me felt like this was it. The journey is coming to an end. But then, when I thought all hope was lost, Tom Hiddleston walks in with his beautiful hair, gives this great performance, and then just leaves. Due to the Avatar trailer and a short vacation I took with friends, I wasn't able to finish this video on time, but I guess better late than never. Please like and subscribe, and let's get started. I hope you enjoy. Loki Season 2 starts off right after the end of Season 1's cliffhanger ending, and I thought it did a fairly good job of subverting our expectations. And I can't help but plagiarize the beautiful vocabulary of Owen Wilson because wow. This whole season was very intriguing and very wacky, and I absolutely loved it. It proves that the MCU doesn't need insane action or crazy cameos to keep fans engaged, especially when it feels like the MCU uses fan service and way too much CGI as a crutch to hide mediocre stories and inconsistent plot threads. Luckily, this show doesn't really do much of that. I wasn't the biggest fan of Loki as a character when he was first introduced, and even in the Avengers movie. Okay, yeah, I will say that as his appearances grew, he ended up becoming a personal favorite. However, he was still never in the centerpiece when I think of the cinematic universe. But after watching this season, please, give me all the Lokis. At least the Tom Hiddleston ones. I really hope the MCU uses Season 2 of Loki as a guide for future MCU projects. I want to talk about why I think this show works so well for me personally. We can all admit that action kicks ass. CGI also kicks ass, when VFX artists are given enough time and resources. But these aren't the reasons I fell in love with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yes, Doctor Strange's crazy butterfly, hand horror trip was visually stunning, and Ant-Man's quantum realm journey was insane. But these were just cool moments, and they're not why I love these movies. I love the MCU for one reason: the characters. My favorite moments in the MCU stem from the characters and their actions and choices, and it's through these actions and their decisions that make our protagonists the superheroes. I feel that the MCU has lost sight of themselves after they started overusing CGI and placing random action sequences and quips throughout the movies and the shows. Loki works so well because while there are some stunning shots here and there, we see Loki growing to love his newfound friends. We see Loki struggling when they're not with him.
I don't want to be alone.
And we see Loki spending literal centuries of his life to fix the ever-growing problem at the TVA to save his family. The multiverse collapsing ends up being a minor problem because to Loki and to us, the problem isn't how to save billions of branches from dying. It's how can we save Mobius, Obi, Sylvie, Casey, and so on and so forth. The stakes seem bigger not because the problems are bigger, but because the problems are personal. This also applies to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as well. Sure, we have the High Evolutionary as a villain, but I didn't care about him much as a threat because for me personally, the journey was strictly on saving Rocket, and we feel the emotions that Peter feels because it's personal to him and to us. It's also not just Loki, however, that makes the show work so well. It's the chemistry and the writing of the supporting cast around him. Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson upped their chemistry from the last season and showed me exactly the bromance I was wanting and expecting from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They worked together so well that part of me wished this season didn't have a satisfying conclusion, and instead we would be able to get a Season 3 just so I can watch them come back and just talk. The addition of Ke Huy Quan is also one that I appreciate so much. This is a man who stepped out of acting for many years, and he really showed us that we were missing out on so many potentially amazing performances. From Everything Everywhere All at Once to this season, he's definitely becoming a fan favorite for me. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Wow, okay. You know what? Wow, alright, I can't even...
Jonathan Majors, And yes, the controversy surrounding him is pretty hard to ignore, but I'll try my hardest since I'm not really caught up in all the latest news regarding the allegations, so I'll strictly be talking just about his performance in this show. Jonathan Majors definitely has Majors acting chops. Okay, that sounds so much lamer out loud, what the heck. His rendition of He Who Remains from last season was good, but his portrayal of Victor Timely had me rooting for this timid con man throughout his appearances. The other actors including B-15, Pillboy, and Sylvie get their chance to shine as well, along with Renslayer and this very thirsty clock. The banter between all of these characters are genuinely funny, and they have great moments together. These characters all feel distinct in their own way, and they're not just copy-pasted versions of quippy MCU characters that we've been getting so frequently. Going into this season, I was afraid that this show would follow the same formula as previous Disney Plus entries. I thought we would be getting an intriguing first episode, followed by some mediocre middle episodes, then they'll pick up the intensity building towards an epic but rushed climax, just to have a mediocre ending that's setting up like 10 other projects. Loki also does a great job showing that MCU properties don't need to have a lot of action to be fun and engaging. Sure, give me Doctor Strange for Thanos or Shang-Chi in a bus, but we don't necessarily need an overabundance of that in order to be fun. Loki doesn't really have too much action, besides some sick moments where Loki fully utilizes his powers in ways that we haven't seen in so long. That shadow sequence looks so good. And lastly, the MCU has been way too quippy.
Blackagar, Boltagun.
Blackagar, Boltagar. Hit a guy, hit it there.
But this show manages to escape a lot of that. Instead, we have moments of genuine humor. Some of the moments include Casey geeking out over Obi. It was such a cute interaction that only gets upped by Obi and Victor Timely geeking out over the fact that they both wrote the TVA handbook. There was that moment where Victor thought Miss Minutes was making fun of his stutter.
Well, marking just isn't necessary.
Or when Mobius was afraid of his skin falling out of his body. Honestly, any scene with Kiki Kwan also is just an automatic win in my book. He's just that awesome. Loki Season 2 was great, and I'm happy he had a satisfying end to his character arc. I guess for like the third time. I'm not sure if this is it for his character. I'm pretty sure maybe he'll come back for Secret Invasion. But whatever the case may be, I'm glad we were able to witness this amazing season. Going forward, I'm hoping the MCU learns what worked well in this show and continues to carry it forward for future movies and shows as well. I'm curious to see what everyone else thought about this season. Did you all like it? Did you hate it? Let me know down below. Please like and subscribe as well, as it'll help me figure out this YouTube thing even more. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and bye.